scientist. What was that? First, any single kind of organism, any single kind of organism has only one name. First M. Second M is what? No two kinds of organism bear the same name. So these two M kept by the scientist while giving nomenclature. So what was that? Primary aim of nomenclature. Primary aim of nomenclature. Okay, so first aim was what? What was that? Any single kind of organism has only one name. Okay, so any single kind of organism has only one name. First was is this, and second, no two kind of organism bear the same name. No two kind of organism bear the same name. So these is two important aim of nomenclature considered by scientists. Okay, now two types of names was given. One name is known as a vernacular and another is a scientific. Now vernacular also known as a local name. Okay, but many problems are there in local name. Now, so what I told, two types of name has been given to organisms. Two types of names was given to organisms. Okay, now first type is a vernacular or it is also known as local name, and second one is scientific name. Now one by one we'll discuss these names. Okay, so first is vernacular or common names. Or common names. Okay, now this vernacular or local or common names develop when society developed. Okay, from ancient time, every society given the common name. Just for example, we are taking in India, north states are there, south states are there, east states are there, west states are there. So just for example, we are taking an example of tomato. Okay, now if Tamil we are saying, so tomato in Tamil it is known as what? Takkali. Okay, now if that is south states, if north we are coming in Delhi, okay, so that is known as a tomato. Okay, every region having some specific names. If you will go in northeast states, so this tomato is known as bilauti. Okay, so every reason having a confusion while going on that. Okay, so what the product is asking. So what happens? These vernacular names or common names or local names were not accepted. Okay, so what we can say, this started with human civilization. So this naming system started with human civilization. Okay, human civilization, and each region has different names for the same product, for the same product. Okay, so this is vernacular or common name or local name not accepted. Okay, so it is not accepted, and this one was retarded, discard. Okay, so this system is discarded by scientific world. Scientific world. Okay, so next it came what? Scientific name. So come on that. So next system came scientific names. Okay, now this is universal name given, just like tomato. So Lycopersicon esculentum. If you'll go in USA and you will tell that Lycopersicon esculentum is what, so they will tell tomato. In India, if you will tell Lycopersicon esculentum anywhere, so all will understand that it is what? It is tomato. Okay, so scientific name is what? It is scientific name is what? The names which is acceptable all over the world. So the names which is accepted all over the world without any hesitation. Okay, because it is scientific name. Okay, it is only one name that was given. Okay, now this scientific name having what? This is having three types. One is a polynomial, one is a binomial, and one is a trinomial. Okay, so three types of nomenclature, three types of nomenclature was introduced by the scientists. Okay, now number one is a polynomial. What is that? Polynomial. So polynomial. Okay, now as term suggests, poly means many and nomial means name. So polynomial nomenclature. Nomenclature. Now this is this nomenclature, polynomial nomenclature, was given by scientist Cumbersome. So this nomenclature was given by scientist name is cumbersome. This name you have to remember, that a polynomial nomenclature was given by this scientist, that is cumbersome. Okay. Now, this was also not accepted because one proper name, it is having many names. One species are there, or one products are there, or one organisms are there. So they are containing many long names. Okay. Just for example, Caryophyllum species. Okay, for example, Caryophyllum species. Now, their name is what? Their name is Caryophyllum Saxatilis Follis gramineus. What is that? Caryophyllum Saxatilis Follius gramineus. Okay, Caryophyllum Saxatilis Follius gramineus. Okay, Umbilatus corymbis. Umbilatus corymbis. Okay, this is the name of Caryophyllum. Now, it meaning, this Latin word is there, and it means that Caryophyllum growing on rocks. What is that? It meaning Caryophyllum growing on rocks. Okay, Caryophyllum growing on rocks, having grass-like leaf, have grass-like leaf, and umbellate corymb flower. Okay, and umbellate corymb flower. Okay, and umbellate corymb flower. So this is the name of Caryophyllum. Now, this so much long name is difficult to remember and understand. Okay, that's why this polynomial nomenclature was discarded. Okay, now this polynomial nomenclature description was given in the 9th edition of Systema Naturae book. This you have to remember. So what I am telling, this polynomial nomenclature information, this polynomial nomenclature information was given in the book Systema Naturae. Now, this you have to remember. Edition name you have to remember. This is what? 9th edition. Okay. Systema Naturae, 9th edition, polynomial nomenclature information was given. Okay. And this one was what? Discarded by the scientific world. Not this contains generally 15 words naming system. 15 words naming system means minimum 15 words were there. Okay, so 15 words naming system. This is not accepted by scientific world due to difficulty in understanding and remembering. Okay, so this is very difficult. So after that, which nomenclature came that was more popular? So that was binomial nomenclature. So come on that. Next came binomial nomenclature. Okay, so next came what? Binomial nomenclature. Okay, now all of you know that who given this binomial nomenclature, right? So it is Linnaeus, and in which book? Philosophica Botanica, written in 1751. Okay, so what we can say, the scientific name names of binomial nomenclature was given by which scientist? Linnaeus. Okay, scientist name was Linnaeus, and book name Philosophica Botanica. So book name was Philosophica Botanica. It was written in 1751. In which year? 1751. Okay. Now, he also took a reference, okay, of the written book Species Plantarum and Systema Naturae 10th edition. 9th edition was polynomial, then Systema Naturae. So he also wrote Systema Naturae. This is 10th edition. So 10th edition contains which type of nomenclature? Binomial nomenclature. And Species Plantarum and Species Plantarum. So these two books, Species Plantarum and Systema Naturae, 10th edition, having the information regarding what? Binomial nomenclature. Okay. Now this Species Plantarum, it is written in 1753. Okay, in which year? 1753. And Systema Naturae 10th edition written in 1758. This is 1758. So these binomial nomenclature information given in the book Systema Naturae and Species Plantarum. Okay, but the scientific name of binomial nomenclature was given by what? Linnaeus, and he was given in which year? 1751, Philosophica Botanica. Okay, now this binomial nomenclature having some rules and regulations, because this scientific name nomenclature is mostly accepted by the scientific world. Okay, so what are the names, what are the systems were there, what are the regulations were there, postulates were there, that we have to see. So binomial nomenclature, as a name suggests, bi means two names, genus and species. So come on that, postulates of binomial nomenclature. postulates of binomial nomenclature. Okay, binomial means two-word naming system. Two-word naming system. One is genus and one is species. Species also known as specific epithet. Specific epithet and genus also known as generic name. Okay. Now, what are the postulates of binomial nomenclature were there? First is a scientific name consisting what? Two words. So, what we can say? A scientific name consists of a scientific name consists of two words. One is genus or generic name and other is species or specific epithet. So this is the first postulate, a system. Okay. Now here second postulate is there, the generic name always written first. Okay, so what is that? The generic name always written first and then specific epithet should be written. Okay, so first it should be written what? Generic name or genus and then specific epithet. Now next, the generic name always start with capital letter. The generic name always start with capital letter and specific epithet starts with small letter. Okay, the first one, generic name start with capital letter and specific epithet starts with what? Small letter. Okay, if we are having any name is there, scientific name is there. Okay, so what is that? Scientific name, any scientist is there who has discovered that organism or species, so that name was written after these two. Okay, so third is the scientific name or the scientist or discoverer name written after the generic and specific epithet names, with capital letter starting. Okay, so that will be what? Capital letter with starting. Okay. Next postulates is what? Now, if biological name is written, if biological name is written with the help of printing, okay, printers are there. So biological names, if printed, we can say, so it should be in italics form. And if it is handwritten, then it will be underlined. So what we can say, the biological or scientific name, the biological or scientific names always printed in italics, always printed in italics. And if these handwritten, if these handwritten, it must be underlined. Okay, so if printed, in that case it will be italics form. If handwritten, it must be what? Underlined. Okay, it must be what? Underlined. Okay, now these names, scientific name or biological name, always written with the help of Latin language. What was that language? Latin language. So it is telling that these names are generally derived by Latin language. Why? Since Latin language is dead language. Is dead language. And since it is dead, that's why it cannot be changed. Okay, that's why it is what? It cannot be changed. It cannot be modified. Okay, that's why this binomial nomenclature, mainly what used? Latin language they are using. Okay, now after all, what is the benefit of binomial nomenclature that we have to see? So advantages of binomial nomenclature. Okay, advantages of binomial nomenclature. So what are the advantages are there? First are these names are simple. Okay, we can easily remember, easily understand. Only two names are there. One is generic name and one is specific epithet. So these names are simple, meaningful, precise, and standard, accepted universally. So what we can say? These names are simple, precise. Okay, they are having meaning. So they are having simple, precise, meaningful, and standard. So precise, meaningful, and okay, standard. Okay, so these names are simple, precise, meaningful, and standard, and well accepted by the scientific world. Okay, so this is the first advantage of binomial nomenclature. Now second is what? Confusion what created before, that was overcome. Okay, so confusion and uncertainty created by local names. Confusion and uncertainty created by vernacular names has been removed. Okay, by this what happens, that a local name, common name, that confusion or uncertainty were there, so that has been removed by binomial nomenclature. And more important, easy to understand and remember. So third most important is, this is very easy to understand and remember. Okay, and that's why this binomial nomenclature was mainly, what happens, they are having well accepted in the scientific world. Okay, now next nomenclature was came, that was a trinomial nomenclature, but that was accepted in few organisms. Okay, so that was, next is trinomial nomenclature. Now, this trinomial nomenclature, as a term suggests, tri means three. Okay, so three words are used. Three words are used for naming the organism, and this is specially used for animals. Three words are used for naming. Okay, three words are used for naming organisms. Okay, three words are used for naming organisms, especially for what? Especially animals. Okay, and that's why it is known as what? Trinomial nomenclature. Okay, for example, if we are taking modern human being. Okay, so for example, modern man, so it is having homo sapiens sapiens. Okay, so homo sapiens is what it is? What it is? Modern human being. Okay, so this is what? Trinomial nomenclature. Other examples are gorilla. So other example, gorilla. So their name is gorilla, gorilla, gorilla. Okay, their scientific name is gorilla, gorilla, gorilla. Okay. Another example is Ascaris lumbricoides humanis. Okay. Ascaris lumbricoides humanis. Okay, so these are the terms that is used in trinomial nomenclature. Okay, now some terms are coming here. Some terms are coming here regarding with that. So that terms, some terms, what are the terms are there that we have to see, that holotype, isotype, what are those? So we have to see this. So come on that after this trinomial nomenclature. But mostly accepted word what? Binomial system of nomenclature or binomial nomenclature. So some important terms. What are the terms is there? First term is isotype. Now, as a term suggests, isotype means what? Duplicate of holotype. Duplicate